Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts back once again, another reaction for guys. It's here, guys. It is here, and it's been so long since I've said this. We have a new episode of The Mandalorian. It's been since I think the end of 2020 since the last time we've seen a Mandalorian episode. Of course, we've seen Mando, we've seen Baby Yoda, Grogu. We've seen them since the ending of the series in terms of season 2 and Luke Skywalker and that amazing reveal and everything in that great episode. But it's been a long time since The Mandalorian, and now we're here at the season 2 premiere, and it's so early in the morning, we don't have a title yet, and obviously we'll see the titles when we actually jump into the episodes. I think they've actually updated the titles since then for the past seasons, I think, I'm not 100% sure, but the title will be within the episode when we dive in. So there's a lot of questions going into this season. Obviously, we know we're going to Mandalore, we know that Grogu's back in the mix. There's a lot of questions in regards to how much in depth in terms of the Mandalore we're gonna, Mandalore we're gonna go into, Bo-Katan, how much of a role she's gonna play, and there was even brought up this week, are they gonna be referencing Cara Dune, how you pronounce her name? Are they gonna be referencing her absence because the character is seemingly gone, right? So there's a lot of questions about that, but just in general, how are they going to go about this season? Because we've been waiting for a long time for this. Okay, there was even rumors back in the day that this show wasn't going to come back and that it was being replaced by the Book of Boba Fett. It was kind of a strange time, but I'm so happy that we have the show returning, and I love these two characters together, Din and Grogu together, and just being like a father-son dynamic or whatever, and Grogu choosing Din and choosing being with Mando over training and Yoda's lightsaber. There's a lot of things with that. So let's get into it now, guys. Let's check it out. I'm ready to jump into it. The Mandalorian Season 3 premiere. Let's go. What's she making? Whoa. Okay. Oh my gosh. That's him when he was young, right? That has to be him. Yeah.
I swear on my name and the names of the ancestors.
I swear on my name and the names of the ancestors.
This is the way.
This is the it's kind of weird, his hair's hanging out, but whatever.
I shall never remove my helmet.
From this moment on, I shall never...
What the fuck? That's what they're fighting. Okay, I was wondering because in the trailers we've seen some of these shots or whatever. Oh, there you go. It's like a turtle alligator kind of thing. Did it do anything? It's so cool seeing all these Mandalorians. Death roll, like an alligator would, yeah. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know what he would have done at that moment. There you go. Ooh. Dude. Never mind. That wasn't it. I thought for a second that was him. I think that was the implication that it was him. No. So adorable.
Is this inscription not Mandalorian? They came upon it by trade from a traveler who claimed to have visited the surface of Mandalore. If I visit the planet and I can bring you proof that I have bathed in the living waters beneath the mines of Mandalore, then by creed.
This is the way.
Okay, so if you can show proof. Okay. Wait a minute. What?
Welcome to Navarro, independent trade anchor and outer rim hyperlane port.
Okay.
The purpose of your visit.
Here to meet an old friend.
Shout it out. Oh my god. Aww. That's nice. That's nice. This robot holding his cape.
I heard you were back. We are an official trade. I can set you up with a prime tract right over by the hot springs.
It's complicated. I completed my quest. He returned to me.
Yep.
I removed my helmet, and now I'm an apostate.
Where you're from, you may
Taking
be
some candy.
apostate, but here you'd be landed gentry.
stand aside, droid. Don't you know who we are?
Uh-oh.
Come on, Vane. Let's continue this conversation back at my office. This is a school.
It's a school.
Explains why she wouldn't let me inside.
Join me for a drink.
Don't make a scene. Don't make a scene.
Captain. Is there a problem here, Magistrate?
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Is there a problem?
Is there?
You think so? Try me.
You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
What about Marshal Doom?
After she brought in Moff Gideon, she was recruited by Special Forces.
Oh.
What became of Gideon?
Collect a healthy stipend, you'd make a very fine lawman.
Yeah,
Why
you
not request
would.
one from the New Republic? I need him back.
What?
IG-11 was destroyed on the lava river. This is just a statue.
This is interesting, right? He wants to bring him back. He's back. That's cool. Ooh. What?
Mango, shoot it! Shoot it!
Shoot it.
Fortunately, Navarro has attracted the best droid smiths of the Outer Rim.
What do you want?
Oh my god. Hey.
Can fix. No, no, the book.
Okay.
Memory circuit. Okay.
He says the memory circuit is shot.
Very hard to find.
He says they don't make them anymore. They're very hard to find.
I got it.
He got that part.
Right.
Not a pet.
No,
Not a pet.
Keep IG-11 safe until I get back with that part. This here is your hyperspace map.
Oh, I was teaching him.
To determine your range.
Oh shit. Getting revenge.
You can't just sneak away.
And we're off. Even more? Of course. Of course. Damn. Good maneuver. He's laughing. He's on. Ooh. Yeah, you're not safe. Oh shit. He's so good at this. Oh damn. Oh shit.
Stop where you are, Mandalorian.
Wow. Okay.
Outgunned.
I have no quarrel with you, Gorian Shard.
There you go. And he's gone.
It's a Mandalorian castle.
Okay.
Bo-Katan.
Mm-hmm.
Din Djarin.
Yes.
What of your plans to retake Mandalore?
When I returned without the Darksaber, my forces melted away. Do you still have the saber?
Yeah.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Then you lead them.
So you gave up your designs to retake Mandalore?
Just didn't have the saber.
Go home. There's nothing left. There's nothing magic about the mines of Mandalore.
Nothing magic.
They supplied Beskar ore to our ancestors, and the rest is superstition.
And I will find out if the planet is really poisoned.
Goodbye, Din Djarin.
There's more to this than just, hello, goodbye, Regardless of it being early in the morning and I'm really tired, I'm so happy that the show is back. It feels great to watch The Mandalorian again. Like I said in the intro, we've seen Din, we've seen Grogu since The Mandalorian Season 2. But you get what I'm saying? It feels great to see the show back, right? And yeah, it's on the shorter side. They had already told us ahead of time that this was a short episode, but they didn't waste any time within this episode. That was the beauty of it. Like, it didn't feel like they wasted any time. They got right to the whole point of the mission. The point of this season is to go back to Mandalore. So I like the fact that we just jumped right in. Now, I'm not sure about this in terms of the opening scene with the armor, making that helmet and seeing this kid take the oath to become a Mandalorian. It felt like to me that they were setting up that this was Din taking the oath. Like, this is a flashback, right? And maybe that's what they were trying to imply, but not exactly, because it felt like to me, this is them saying this is Din, right? Maybe not. We've seen a young Din within flashbacks, but I wasn't 100% sure if that's what they were doing until he shows up, of course, and then takes out that gigantic, like, alligator turtle hybrid beast or whatever. Like, that was insane. But we'll get to that in a second. But like, it felt like to me like they were saying this was Din and trying to fool us or whatever. But also, what this kind of says after seeing the full sequence unfold, that they're still taking in kids. They're still taking in, you know, potential, like, in turning kids into Mandalorians. They're still doing that. So it's not like to where, because I mean, it makes sense. I mean, we saw a lot of Mandalorians there, but eventually they're going to die out. So they need to get new recruits in the mix. So, and they said at one point the younglings or whatever, or young ones. So it sounds like, because I really wasn't paying too much attention, that there were some younger Mandalorians, like kids, so they need to be protected when this giant beast came out. And the armor instinctively knew to stop and then pull him away, and this gigantic alligator turtle thing jumped out of the water. Took out some Mandalorians. Unfortunately, we've lost a couple Mandalorians in that fight, but that was a pretty intense opening moment after we have this slow buildup of the creating of the helmet, having this kid recite the oath, this is the way, and then here comes this giant beast. Thankfully, Din shows up with his new freaking ship, which is amazing, by the way. It's so cool that he's flying that around. And he takes it out. And regardless of that, though, because that was a nice gesture, he didn't have to do that. Luckily, showed up at the time he did. But he is no longer a Mandalorian in the eyes of how they feel. Because later on, when we actually talk to Bo-Katan, which I love Katie Sackhoff, Bo-Katan, great. I love the fact that she's playing her live action. But the fact is that she said that your cult, you know, so like his section of Mandalorians are not exactly the way, I guess. Yeah, it's a whole division, faction type thing, it seems. But she called him and his side of things in terms of the armor and all them, they're a cult. You know, they're not exactly following, you know, Mandalorians. Like, and I feel like too, they're never going to make Din completely switch away from the armor and that side of the Mandalorians that he knows, because that would require Pedro Pascal to be constantly on set, and he's busy. So, and he signed on knowing he wasn't going to take off the helmet much at all. So, I don't know if they would completely switch that up to where he's going to be like Bo-Katan running around with his helmet off all the time. So yeah, so we have that whole sequence go down. It was a great fight sequence, a great opening, gigantic beast. I don't even know what the thing was called, but it was massive and it was brutal. And then it death rolled like an alligator at one point. Remember, or was it crocodiles that do the death rolls? Maybe they both, because there's a distinction between alligators and crocodiles, and I'm not sure if both of them do death rolls. I know that there's one distinctly does that. I think it's an alligator, but regardless, you get what I'm saying. It was a pretty insane sequence, and he's told straight up, after there's some sort of like exchange with the Jawas, there was like this piece that's apparently from Mandalore. It's some text, some scripture, and saying, okay, maybe the planet isn't poisonous like it was implied. It's because someone went on there, found this, it was crystallized, but they found this and they were able to get off the planet. So it could potentially still be somewhat, you know, fine to go back to Mandalore. And she says, well, if you bring back proof, I can't even talk. It is early in the morning. Apologies. If you bring back proof, that word, wow. If you bring back proof that you bathe in the waters or whatever of Mandalore, which later on Bo-Katan says that's superstition, and that's, you know, don't even know that's even a thing. Like, she doesn't believe any of that. But the armorer says, if you do it, this is the way. I like how she didn't even say yes. She just looks over at Grogu and looks back at him and goes, this is the way. Like, just saying, and that's her own way of saying, all right, she can bring back the proof, then okay. Then you taking off your helmet, it's all forgiven. So it's like, okay, how's he going to bring back proof of that? Is he going to bring back like a container full of the water? I have no idea. Pictures? He's going to film himself? I don't know. I don't know. So, you go see Grief Karga. and now he's like a higher level, like, or he's like running the city now or whatever, and it's definitely has changed. We have a brief, and I mentioned this in the intro because it was actually addressed earlier this week in terms of, I think it was like yesterday, and this is Wednesday morning when the episode is now dropped, asking about Cara Dune, I think it's Cara Dune, anyways. They addressed Dune. They addressed her in the show. She was recruited, and she's just gone now. So the character isn't dead. There was this whole thing online to where they're going to kill the character off screen. We're going to hear about it. No, they're saying that the character, and they said the interview yesterday that came out that she's out there. That's how we're going to address it. She's out there. We're not killing off the character, because the implication is we could see a recast of the character down the road in, say, season 4 of The Mandalorian, and so it gives even more time between the last time we've seen her, because the last time we saw her was season 2 finale of Mandalorian during 2020. So if you wait even longer for season 4 and bring back a recast, it probably won't be as jarring as, say, if you brought her back within Book of Boba Fett or something and had it be somebody else, because they're done with Gina Carano. They're done with her. So we'll see about that, but the implication is she's out there somewhere. Okay. All right. I mean, that's better than killing her off, because I feel like there's things, because they were planning on that character to be leading Rangers of the New Republic. I believe that was the show that they had announced that they were working on, and this was announced around the time when things were getting bad with Gina, but they still went ahead and announced it, and then everything fell apart and they fired her. So, and that was sometime later on, months later, I think so, when they got rid of her. But still, they had plans for her character. So I'm assuming we'll probably still we'll see her again, just not with Gina, but we'll see. We'll probably see her again. So, with all that being said, we have these pirates who show up, and the city used to be a certain way, and they're trying to get into what was used to be a saloon, a bar, and now it's a school. And they're like, no, we're still considering this a bar. Idiots. And then, of course, all of them get taken out except the one guy leading them. Of course, even Grieve shot. Knocked the weapon out of his hand, and then shot even more when they started pulling their weapons and shit. And then Mando does something that I wasn't expecting, because see, this was the beauty of the marketing of The Mandalorian specifically, and even other Star Wars shows as well, but mostly I noticed with The Mandalorian does a good job of showing some really cool moments, some great, little things out of context or whatever, but there's a lot of stuff they hide in the marketing, which is smart. They hid the fact that I think they might have shown IG-11, like the statue, maybe in the marketing. I don't think they did, but his whole goal now is to potentially find a piece of, like, whatever, a memory thing or whatever that is hard to find, and fuse it for IG-11 so that he can help him go to Mandalore and figure his way around to where he needs to go. At least that's what's implied, that's what he's trying to do. Was that Babu Freak? I'm not sure if that exactly was Babu Freak. It's the same alien species or whatever. But that was interesting. And then we have going to see Bo-Katan, who's just chilling at a Mandalorian castle, just chilling by herself. And like, it's so interesting too, like how they address certain things, because they address Cara Dune, whatever. And they address her absence, and they also address the absence of the other Mandalorians that were with Bo-Katan during season 2, because they're gone too. It's like, well, you know, they left. They're mercenaries now. Essentially, they're not with me anymore because I don't have the Darksaber. And this is definitely not the end of Bo-Katan in this season. There's no way, because Bo-Katan's whole goal was to retake Mandalore. She doesn't have the Darksaber. She's going to fight Din for it. She's going to fight Din. And the thing is, the reason why she's not taking control of Mandalore now is because she wouldn't accept Din's offer. Because I believe Din was offering it to her. I think this happened in season 2. I believe, I have to go back and rewatch that scene, but I'm pretty sure in some sort of way he was trying to offer it to her. And she wouldn't take it. She has to win it by combat. So I'm pretty sure she's going to fight Din. And the thing is, he also can't, like, just let her win. Like, in terms of, like, okay, oh, you hit me. Oh no, here's the Darksaber. She's not going to accept that either. It needs to be a true fight, which I don't think Din wants to do anyways. So it's a gray area. Grogu was funny in this episode. Adorable as always in this episode. That one sequence when they're traveling through space, right? And you see, I forget what they're called, but it ties into Ezra Bridger. And you see them on the outskirts or whatever, and it ties directly into Ezra. I'm like, oh my god, like that's like I wasn't expecting to see that in live action. Like I forget what they're called, but that sequence, I'm like, wow, okay, so they are definitely referencing Ezra, right? And it's so crazy because they'd be like, well, no, I think the implication is that the Ahsoka series is getting Ezra. That's the whole plan, to get Ezra back, which is crazy. So that was a little teaser, a little nice hint. We had those, of course, sequences a little bit later to kind of, I think it's the last thing really that happened in this episode. Well, I mean, Grief offered, Mando to just live there since he's already exiled essentially from being a Mandalorian. It's like, hey, you can just stay here, you can chill here, But having those pirates ambush Mando when he's leaving the planet, and then he takes out a bunch of them, and then there's the giant ship, and that like pirate leader or whatever, that guy, interesting design, looked like kind of like a version of Swamp Thing, kind of like with the green or whatever. It was kind of interesting. Of course, Mando is like, he's out there because he tells Grogu, he's trying to teach him about the navigation stuff on the ship. Was kind of nice, but he says too, never trust a pirate. He's trying to give him advice, trying to be a fatherly figure in a sense, trying to help him out and stuff and talk to him and everything. Never trust a pirate, because pirate, was saying, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen. He's like, no, don't trust it, never trust it. Nope. Smart. This was a good episode. Like I said, it was definitely on the shorter side. Would have preferred it longer, but at the same time, I'm happy it's a shorter episode. The sitter has long to record. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed my reaction. I'm curious to know what you thought about this first episode of The Mandalorian, the return of The Mandalorian. Whatever thoughts you have, guys, let me know in the comments below. It was great to see the return of the show. Talk to you guys soon. Peace out.